They're currently ranked number 24. This is a program that's been ranked in the top 25 for the past 9 straight seasons. A loss to an unranked team right now would probably knock them out. For Arkansas, they're on the bubble of making the NCAA tournament currently. A win against a ranked opponent would definitely turn some heads.
Time to turn to players. Typically when we do a player, you will use a compilation of highlights from several matches. But for Kennedy Martin, she had a match for the ages Friday night against Tennessee.
Kennedy Martin did something that no other Florida player has done in the last 20 years. She put up 31 kills. To make that more impressive, she hit at a 542 clip. That number is insane for a middle, let alone an opposite. Martin's become one of the most dominant opposites in the country because of her physicality, range, and clear ability to take over a match. She stands at 6'6", so she's a huge force up front and pairs that with a massively heavy arm. She's first in the SEC in points per set and gets it done in different ways. Arkansas has to find a way to get 2 blockers up her at all times to slow her down. To help contain Martin in Florida's offense, Arkansas is led by libero Courtney Jackson, who is one of the best liberos not just in the SEC, but in the entire country. She's an incredible passer and takes control of the serve receive so well. She also just digs a ton of balls, averaging nearly 5 digs a set, good for best in the league.
Well, this Arkansas team looking for a win. They've lost their last 4. Florida is red hot right now. They have won 3 straight, 9 of their last 10 sets. And we are underway in this best of 5 set match. And right away, free point given to Arkansas.
This is something to watch, that battle up at the net. Those 50-50 balls, who's going to take control? Florida, definitely much more physical.
Back to serve number 19 in white, Olivia Huey. And Huey with the service error. The serve should be a critical factor in this match. Jason Watson would be the first to tell you that. His team has been struggling behind the service line. Jason Watson, though, coming off a record-breaking season, took them all the way to the regional finals, which would be the equivalent of the Elite Eight in basketball. Izzy Martin with the serve, right side attack. And another violation this time. It's Florida, I think, in the net. And so Arkansas, both their points have come off of Florida violations so far. Sanaya Pettis back to serve. Senior from Houston, Texas, her second season at Arkansas. AC Fitzpatrick puts the hammer down for the first Gator kill.
Watch for Florida to send a lot of sets outside. When Hannah Hogue, the setter for Arkansas, is up front, a much shorter blocker, that's a blocking mismatch.
Mary Wise, the all-time winningest active coach in the country, going for her 1,060th win tonight. McKissick with the student section and band right behind her serving. Hogue puts up the set. Madkin terminates from the left side.
Nia Madkin has been really impressive so far this season for Arkansas. Just a redshirt freshman, so she didn't see any action last year, but she's had to come up big for this Arkansas team that has had to find new arms to rely on.
Now, this is a young Arkansas team, and they started out SEC.
And that allowed Arkansas to tool it right off.
Jackson, one of the all-time greats at Arkansas volleyball history with that serve. Izzy Martin, off hands, kept alive by Weeks. Command keeps it alive on the Florida side. Martin was trying to hit hands, missed, oh no, got the touch. Point Florida.
And a good bailout for Martin on the outside. Stuckey just a little bit off with that ball location. Didn't get her feet there in time.
And Arkansas is going to challenge that touch goal.
Tough to tell from this angle. Maybe that inside hand of Thurman. This might be a better look at it.
No, Texas or Oklahoma. So a fantastic start for Arkansas in this first set. Stuckey setting Martin, and Martin missed on the attack.
And this is where it becomes difficult because Mary Wise already burned a challenge so early on. This is a play where Mary Wise has to decide, is it worth it to challenge again? She's only got one left.
taking a timeout right now as the Gators have struggled here in this first set. A negative hitting percentage. What's Arkansas doing so well?
It's their all-around play. They're finding ways to kill ball in the first ball situation, siding out at a 90.9% clip. Normally you want that somewhere around the 45 or 55% range rather. They're nearly doubling that. They're passing incredibly well, and that's allowing the offense to really roll.
Well, the top conference runners will compete in the SEC Cross Country Championships Friday morning from College Station, Texas. The women's 6K, that'll begin at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, followed by the men's 8K, both here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. And following the theme of our volleyball match, Florida, the defending cross country.
Whether there was a touch on it or not. And by this look, it looks like there actually was a touch. But again, Mary Wise only has one challenge left, so maybe not worth challenging, especially when you're down 11 points in the set.
Florida did drop the opening set to Tennessee last week and then came roaring back to win in 4. But this has been a statement by Arkansas here in this first set. They've really set the tone. Courtney Jackson back to serve. Over 1,000 digs in her career. Overpass easily put away by number 3 in white, Sanaya Pettis.
Has 2 blockers in front of her, but what she does well is she sees the blockers right in front of her and just swings high, hard right at them for the tool.
Izzy Martin, also one of those players, always looks like she's having fun on the court, smiles constantly. Canan keeps that alive. Parks will put up a set to Izzy Martin. Pancake dig by Roth. And the point ends up going to Florida.
That pancake called down. If any part of the ball touches the floor.
Jason Watson is talking to our official.
This is a play that you can challenge.
No, they're not going to challenge it. Point goes to the Gators, and Florida has the lead. Hogue will send it over. Good cover by Parks, but eventually the Hogue attack wins them the point.
That's a play that Florida has to find a way to convert. Hogue threw this ball over, but it was well defended, played up, then a miscommunication on the Gator side earns the Razorbacks the point.
Hogue with 2 kills already tonight and 3 attempts from the setter position. Hui targeting that serve at McKissick. And crushed by Amaya Thomas.
When Florida's in system, they've been really tough to stop, especially when they can get the middle going. It's been so effective, and oftentimes either one-on-one or a big seam in the block for them to hit through.
Thomas, a biomedical engineering major, doing a good job off the bench tonight. Pettis. Set little off the mark for Kennedy Martin, and the point goes to Arkansas.
It's not very often that we talk about Kennedy Martin not having found her groove, but so far to start, she hasn't found her groove. We're seeing a lot of off speeds from her, sets in not the right locations. Either she's a little bit too early or that set's just off.
4 kills for Kennedy Martin. And here's our Lo Jones, did such a good job wearing those camera glasses yesterday. Oh, Thomas, 2 straight kills.
Really good answer on Florida's side. That's in the front row, just takes care of it.
Fitzpatrick back for her 5th year, along with Ellie McKissick, who is serving. Hogue, plenty of time to put that set up. And Fitzpatrick runs out of room.
This is the best that we've seen Arkansas's offense look this entire season, and sometimes it's just the difference of a day and what one match can make of getting in the gym and fine-tuning just a few things, and everyone's clicking right now.
It's kind of been the story in the SEC this year, Emily. I think for the first time I've been covering this conference, you come into a match and honestly have no idea who's going to win.
And that's what's made this league so exciting, because top to bottom, it has just gotten so much better over the past few seasons and really become one of the top, if not the top, volleyball conference. We saw last year so many teams making the tournament as Florida blocks that one down. This is a conference that you have to come to play every night.
The RPI reflecting it. Again, we're just weeks away from unveiling the field of 64. There's that last play.
Watch how far those hands are pressed over. I mean, that is a brick wall to...
Yeah, at least he's hydrating.
Ooh, jump scare.
Florida up 15-12 after scoring just 11 points in the first set. Now 16-12. And Kennedy Martin's having a nice service run now. Just had the first ace of the match for the Gators.
The difference over the last 5 or 6 points has been Florida's service pressure. They've really ramped it up a notch.
It's one of the things they've done best this season, especially in SEC play. Oh, wow. Good up. Good save by Madkin. And eventually, though, the Gators win the point off an attack from Agus.
And what a save on Arkansas' side. Check out this chase down. Hannah Hogue laying out for it. And again, she goes under the net, but it's outside the antenna, so that's completely legal. But laying her body down on the line.
So Arkansas going to take a timeout. Florida has extended the lead, a 5-point advantage. You mentioned earlier, Emily, that the SEC is just so deep this year. Here's what the latest RPI, which is adjusted every Monday, is reflecting. That's 12 teams within range of making the tournament.
It's so impressive what this conference has been able to do. You have this amount of teams in the top 60. What that means is normally the top 60 or so gives you a good indication of who's going to make the NCAA tournament, because you have to be within about that 60 range. So what you see here, all the teams on the right of the screen are all duking it out to try to get those last NCAA tournament bids, but it is going to be an absolute dogfight for the second half of SEC play. All the teams on the right, none of them really have that statement win. So the teams on the left, they've really got to watch out, because all those other teams that are lower in the RPI rank, they're coming after them. And it's going to be crazy to see how many teams actually end up making the tournament. Again, last season, we saw an NCAA record 8 teams from the SEC make the tournament last season. And we'll see how many get in this year, but it's going to be crazy.
A reminder, Texas, the 2-time defending champion, joining the SEC this year along with Oklahoma. So that increases the depth in the SEC. This Florida team was picked to finish second in the preseason poll. They've had a roller coaster once again with injuries this season, and Mary Wise has done an excellent job guiding this ship and keeping it afloat, and they've been playing some of their best volleyball of the season over the past 2 weeks. Madkin goes over the block. Parks setting Kennedy Martin, and no one's going to run that down. Kennedy Martin with her 5th kill of the match.
Florida completely flipped the script over the last 10 points. Every part of their game is elevating. Kennedy Martin's gotten going either front or backcourt offensively, and that service pressure, she's picking apart Arkansas right now.
Florida did this against Tennessee last Friday. Did not start well and ended up coming roaring back over the last 3 sets of that 4-set match. And Martin is heating up. When she gets going, she's basically another timeout. Coach talking to Madkin there, the freshman. And Kennedy Martin up to 6 kills now, starting to take over. She's one of those types of player, Emily, that she can literally just take over a match.
She can absolutely do it. We saw her do it last week. 31 kills in their matchup against Tennessee. That led her to be the AVCA Player of the Week. She has the ability, when she's on, to completely turn it on and completely take over. And what makes her really tough, too, is in this rotation when she's serving, they get her going just as often in the backcourt. So a lot of players, you think, okay, wow, thank God they're in the backcourt. We don't have to worry about them anymore. You almost have to worry about Martin more.
Everywhere. Well, a reminder while we have this break in the action that every Saturday on the SEC Network and the ESPN app, Marty and McGee and SEC Nation will get you ready for football games with game previews, the latest news from around the conference as well. Marty and McGee will start at 9 a.m. Eastern, followed by a 2-hour SEC Nation. This week, they're at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville for one of the great rivalries in college sports, Georgia, Florida, which will be at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Yeah, that's a creative. Is that a Mona Lisa?
I think that is a Mona Lisa.
Okay.
She's doing it well.
Yeah.
She's not breaking character.
There's some creativity in the Barnhill Arena tonight, which is an iconic arena. Arena's been around since 1954. Kennedy Martin serving. Another good serve. Hogue will put up the set. Thurman, the lefty, attacks. Martin keeps it alive. Fitzpatrick hit it at Jackson. Izzy Martin kept it alive. Kennedy Martin sends it over. Madkin. It's McKissick getting the dig. And Kennedy Martin went to the opposite line, and she's on fire. Found it.
3 straight kills from Kennedy Martin in the backcourt, but it's that defense just finding ways to keep the ball alive to give Martin opportunities to go off offensively.
I mean, that is pinpoint accurate. Hogue to Madkin behind the 10-foot line. Parks, a gust with the quick finish.
Everything on Florida's side rolling right now. Arkansas has to find a way right now to get a good pass and get the setter more closer to the net so she can find a way to run their in-tempo offense.
Again, Florida only scored 11 points in that first set. They're in the red zone now, past the 20-point mark. Good serve from Kennedy Martin. A lot of spin on that serve. Parks to August. Good dig by Hogue. Fitzpatrick attacks down the line, missed it, point Arkansas.
Good defense on Arkansas's side to kind of light a fire under this team and get things going. Hannah Hogue with a really impressive dig and right back.
Hogue with 5 digs. This is Weeks ready to serve. Weeks actually has 8 digs tonight. Parks, Martin with the set, went cross court again. Hogue was there. Thurman. Fitzpatrick. Again, right at Hogue. Hui. And Hui, who's been pretty quiet here in the second set.
Arkansas's side just to keep this ball alive. How about Hannah Hogue flying in out of nowhere?
Yeah. Nice swing from Zoe Evans in the middle, the senior from Tampa. Best offensive season she's had. A gust off the slide. Gets another kill.
Florida's middle has been really in high clip, well over 500 at this point. Florida has to continue to keep them involved in the offense.
Canan in to serve. Serve short. Sometimes that's an excellent serve. Evans blocked this time, point Gators.
Really great read on Florida's side, putting 3 blockers up against that attack. Great job watching the play unfold and reading that play early on.
Jayla August with her 3rd block of the night. Top 10 in the SEC. Hui. McKissick saves it. Izzy Martin with a massive swing.
Florida needs a little bit more production from Izzy Martin on the outside. Normally a player that's right somewhere near Kennedy Martin in terms of kills, but she has to turn it on for this Florida team to be successful.
Martin shows up all over the stat sheets. Izzy Martin, she's got 13 digs right now. When she's not getting kills, she's digging.
And Izzy Martin's also a really, really good serve-receive player. She's a good ball control. She's from Germany, so she's played internationally for a while where you have to play 6 rotations. That developed her as a really great all-around player.
Martin attacks, hits into the block, and the block is too strong. Point Arkansas.
Really nice job of the block working with the serve, because when the serve knocks the opponent out of system, it's almost always going to the outside because that's the only option. So the block's just waiting on it to stuff it down.
Parks waits on that. Kennedy Martin trying to terminate from the back row. Good tee by Arkansas. For the most part, they've defended her well. Can't defend that, though.
Kennedy Martin is so tough to stop. It's almost like she heats up her offense.
12 kills, 34 swings for Kennedy Martin. 8 digs, closing in on a double-double. Good serve by Hoyle. Izzy Martin to the corner. Missed it. Point Arkansas.
During that point, Mary Wise trying to pull out her hair just with frustration on that overpass. Those are give-me points on your side. You have to be able to identify that and transition that into offense. Just a missed opportunity for Florida.
You know, Florida's been playing at such a high level over the past couple of weeks. Swept A&M on the road, LSU on the road, beat Tennessee in 4. Had a little bit of a letdown in that first set. But Arkansas playing one of their best sets, I'm convinced, of this season in that first set. Pettis off the slide. Nice block by Thomas. McKissick kept it alive. This has got to go over. Canan sends it way up. Hogue back set to Pettis, and Pettis tools the block for the Razorback.
That was a big answer.
AC, though, she's like a shooter in basketball. She's just going to keep swinging.
Always.
So she eventually can get hot. She's always a threat to the other team. Thurman, off hands, nice swing.
Thurman's been really effective on the right side, going off the top of the block. If they're not in a good position, she sees that and goes right off of it.
Thurman up to 8 kills tonight, a high school All-American from Little Rock. Went to North Carolina for a freshman year. Parks, and that was a miss by a gust. Izzy Martin tried to cover it, but went out of bounds.
Just a little bit mistimed on that middle attack, and sometimes that happens when you have a freshman setter coming in and a freshman middle coming in. Not a ton of time to work together before the start of the season.
Courtney Jackson serving. Parks settles under it, and this time, again, a little miscommunication there between Parks and August. Florida's going to take a timeout and get everybody on the same page because Arkansas now has retaken the lead at 17-16 here in the third. What did you see there, Emily?
Just some, not necessarily miscommunication that set, just a little bit.
It's scary. They think I'm dressed up.
And you walked in, I was like, nice costume. Oh, it's just your face.
All right, I set you up for that. August with the kill. She's so fun. She's great to watch celebrate too.
Oh yeah.
Great personality. Hoyle with a service error. Can't believe you let your boyfriend do that, Emily.
I deserve that.
Service error by Thurman. It's contagious.
Oh my gosh. This is where Arkansas has to lock in, though. When you have a small lead or even tied with the number 24 team in the country, you have to find a way to close that up. The biggest thing sometimes that it comes down to is just keeping the ball in play.
Crunch time here in this set. 18 all, matches tied at a set apiece. Hui attacks, Canan keeps it alive. Izzy Martin, it's kept up by Weeks. Parks setting Kennedy Martin. She goes over the block and into a wide open seam.
This is why the middle of the court, or campfire that we call it, is so effective, because it splits all of the defenders and forces the other side to communicate who's going to take it. And a lot of times it's a miscommunication putting it down.
Yeah, she's not just hitting with power.
This is so well placed. Look how much space there is in the middle of the court. 4 defenders on Arkansas's side could make a play on that, but that's when it comes down to communication and somebody just taking charge.
Now, a play like that, Emily, is that Kennedy's vision or just her feel for the game?
A lot of it is just feel for the game. And, you know, maybe if it's not the perfect set that she doesn't feel like she can take a big rip on, putting it right in the middle of the court is such a good option. Because a lot of times, maybe they play it up, but it causes a lot of chaos happening on the other side, takes hitters out of their routes, and sometimes you'll get a setter to take that ball, which knocks them out of system right away.
And for Arkansas right now, what's got to be the focus?
The focus has to be keeping the pressure on Florida.
I'm being told that guy's name is Hayden, but I don't even need to speak. Martin! Exclamation point!
Late in sets, this is when Kennedy Martin completely takes over the match. You know, on Florida's side, whether it's an overpass or they're setting her, she finds a way to just get the ball in her hands and put it on the floor on the other side.
And that can break the spirit of the other team. Let's see if Arkansas can battle back in this rally and get a side out. Martin will swing again, cross court, It's the Kennedy Martin.
Start off this first set, a little bit of momentum. Nothing gets your team fired up like a good block.
Third block of the night for Izzy Martin. 16 digs, 6 kills. And Taylor Parks with the serve. Hui into the Gator block. Kennedy Martin continues the onslaught.
And Arkansas isn't playing bad during that last set. They hit nearly find a way to adjust their defense to try to at least get a touch on some of these plays.
Kennedy missed some matches earlier this year with an ankle injury, so right now she's not eligible to be ranked nationally in kills per set. But if she were ranked, she'd be among the league or one of the nation's leaders. She's averaging just under 5 kills per set, and that number keeps getting stronger and stronger.
In terms of points per set as well, she would be 5th in the country in terms of points per set.
Point Arkansas, a lift called against Amaya Thomas.
This is one of those subjective plays where if the ball is in your hand a little bit longer than the ref likes, you'll get called for a catch ball or a throw.
Thomas saying, my bad. And Parks tried to go back to Thomas. Second straight point for the Razorbacks.
And that connection we saw at the end of the third set was just a little bit off between Parks and her middle, setting them a little bit too high, not getting the heights right based on which attacker she has in front.
Parks just a freshman. Kennedy Martin cut it sharp. And that is a rare miss, but what she did hit was Emily's water bottle. So
that was close.
She's still connected.
I felt the heat on that one. I'd be scared to be a defender.
You didn't try to get in front of that.
No, absolutely not, never. Get my head taken off.
Martin this time makes up for that miss.
So impressive to watch Kennedy Martin's play really elevate as the season has gone on. Again, she missed a huge chunk in the beginning of the year with that injury. So to not only come back from that, but really dominate and have her play validate that she's getting better and better.
There's Kennedy Martin in on the block, side by side with Amaya Thomas.
That is not a block. 6'6" Kennedy Martin. It is a brick wall up front that you got to avoid at all costs.
It's worth pointing out to me, Emily. I mean, Kennedy Martin is just a sophomore. I mean, this is only her second year of Division I volleyball.
The ceiling is just so high for a player like this that already has developed not only, yes, a heavy arm and great court vision, but such a really high volleyball IQ to understand the game, to know what shot to hit at what time and when to throw in an off speed.
Well, nationally, that sophomore class, such a special group. Martin attacks, puts it straight down. It's like
hitting lines. Every time Kennedy Martin is going up to swing, she's going well over the block on this one. Check it out. I mean, come on.
Is there anything Jason Walton can say to his team right now in terms of dealing with Kennedy Martin?
In those situations where she's going up and over the block, there's not much you can do about it. What the block needs to do is be in a good place that if it doesn't go over, to at least get a touch on it. But if she's going straight over and hitting it down, there's really nothing you can do.
Well, I mean, Jason Watson, I think all coaches, when they watch Kennedy Martin play, there's that sense of appreciation for what she's doing, and also that how the heck can I slow her down?
Well, a lot of it, too, is you might not be able to slow her down. You let her have her points, but you have to be able to control everyone else on the court.
Jason himself was an All-American at BYU. August, the freshman, hits it right at Roth, who basically caught that attack.
Hey, Roth is in the perfect place to make the play on it, but it's just coming so fast getting on you. That's what it takes as a defender. It's not just being in the right place, but do you have that quick reaction time to get the ball up?
Good serve from Martin, joust at the net. Won by the Gators. I think Fitzpatrick got most of that.
That all started back on the end line. Kennedy Martin putting in a bullet back there, forcing that overpass that her front line could take care of.
AC Fitzpatrick.
Martin is probably, I would say, definitely in the top 5. When you look at the complete landscape of NCAA volleyball and who could potentially win that Player of the Year award, I will say most of the times it comes from one of the top teams in the country, normally that makes a Final Four, but this is also a Florida program that you do not want to play in December.
No, I've maintained that this Florida team can make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. They have the pieces, just a matter of keeping everybody healthy. Izzy Martin with a rare hitting error for her. She's usually so efficient.
This is an opportunity that Arkansas has to capitalize on. If Florida's going to give them points, they now have to be able to capitalize and score points of their own.
Arkansas within one, a must-win set for the Razorbacks. They go back to Martin. She hits hands. Hui keeps it alive. Madkin. And Madkin terminates from that left pin.
All of a sudden, the Razorbacks are back in this one. A must-win set for Arkansas. Backs against the wall, down 2-1 in this. They have to find a way to string points together and get a little bit of an edge here.
And Martin missed.
That was real close to the sideline.
Yeah.
Mary Wise just one challenge left in this match. Unless we go to a fifth where she would get an additional one.
Of a delay while this explanation is giving to McKissick. Arkansas, though, Emily, they're right back in this set.
Arkansas on a 5-0 run, but for Florida, 4 of those have come off their errors. So Florida has to play a lot cleaner if they want to get back in the set.
Reminder, Arkansas, for the first time in history, beat Florida twice last season. That was en route to their record-setting Elite Eight finish, going to the regional finals, the last 8 of the tournament.
Much better answer on Florida's side, trying to get Izzy Martin going. Just got out of the negatives in terms of attack efficiency, trying to get her going a little bit more.
7 kills on 24 swings, 18 digs, 3 blocks, and an ace for Izzy Martin, who shows up all over the stat sheet as a 6-rotation player. Good serve from Hoyle. Madkin sends it over. I went off Martin's shoulder, and it ended up being a... Good serve from Martin. Hui. Parks with the set. Middle attack from Thomas. Did she get it? No, just missed it wide. Point Arkansas.
That's a really good run on Florida's side. Parks making it a point to get the middle going. It's especially effective normally in transition. A good swing from Thomas in the middle, just slightly going out of bounds to the side.
Taylor Parks in as the setter for the majority of this match, 43 assists. Looking for another one to Fitzpatrick, but she is stuffed. I think it was Hannah Hogue who got most of that, and Hogue
Plays so much bigger than she is. She gets those hands so far over the net. Very disciplined up front in her blocking skills because she has to be as an undersized blocker.
Hogue won 3 state championships here in the state of Arkansas, continued to play collegiately here. Martin pushes it. Nice save by Courtney Jackson. Parks back to Martin. Cuts it sharp for the kill.
This feels like the time in the match for Florida where they have to continue to feed Kennedy Martin. She is almost sure for a kill every time she's up there. She's heated up as this match has gone on, as it's really tight, and they're trying to claw their way back to get a little bit of a lead. Expect them to keep going to Martin.
One of the strengths of Florida in this win streak has been their ability to finish strong. We're tied at 16 right now. See if Arkansas can extend this match. Martin down the line, got the touch, point Gators. And remember, she had a record-breaking 31 in 4 sets on Friday. She is very close to doing even better than that. Pettis did not clear the net with that attack point, Florida. Never know, she has faced such tragedy in her life by the way she goes about her life right now at Florida. Mary Wise says she is a ray of light, never has a bad day.
Important now to keep the ball in play, both from the end line.
And back to serve. Izzy Martin off speed, kept alive by Hogue. This is Hui. Kennedy Martin missed the attack, and the Razorbacks have the 1-point lead. Timeout, Florida. Parks, Kennedy Martin terminates. No surprise there.
Two blockers up in front of her. She finds a way to rip this cross-court seam.
So many of her swings have looked like she's on the beach, Emily. Winner of this point will have a match point or a set point. Hui missed it. Match point, Florida. Timeout, Arkansas. So the Gators with 2 quick points out of that timeout to get to match point, and now it's Arkansas's turn to try to figure out a way to slow down Florida. Well, Kennedy Martin has been the difference maker for Florida all night. She has tied her career high of 31 kills. And you'd expect them to find a way to get right back to her, wouldn't you?
That's exactly what this Florida team wants to do. Late in sets, they find Kennedy Martin in whatever situation it is. A good pass, a bad pass, she becomes the outlet for this Florida team.
And if you're Arkansas, Emily, looking at Jason Watson talking to his team, I mean, he's alluding to the fact he knows they're going to go to Kennedy Martin.
Even when you know that she's getting the ball, she's still difficult